appreciative for you all being here. We're going to have a nice time. We're going to enjoy the outdoors, the indoors, and culture. I'm Representative Glenda Simmons-Jenkins. I am the representative for Florida for the Gullah Geechee Nation, and thank you for being here. We are so happy to be sharing with you about our culture, about environment, about nature, and about all of the things that make us who we to be. So just be comfortable. We're going to open with our traditional ceremony, and we're going to go from there. Get away. Oh, Chile, Jordan, get away. Chile, Jordan, I want for cross over for see my Lord. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are the children to do? They do fine. Glad to be here this so. What we want you to do, rise with me. We want to take a lead walk out yonder to the sea and pour libation for we ancestors. Way in the water, God quite trouble the water. Step in the water and the water be cold. God quite trouble the water. Oh, he chill my body, but not my soul. God, why trouble the water? Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God, why trouble the water? This a day call. We know it's some trouble in water. Right here in Florida. For trouble. Every year this your time. All the ancestors see and rise. Come here. Take time for things. We pray this year. Gonna hold back the trouble in the water. Here in Florida. We say, Ashe. Ashe. But the ancestors. But come here. Look at the people one day. Talk to them. Because of the tea, Frankie Mulan, and Kaya, the Igbo, Mandinka, Malenke, Yoruba, Gullah, Geechee, Mendi, Temni, Ifik, Ibibio, and what? Ajani, the Demon, Yamasi, Kosabo, Yadisto, and hear about them now, called Seminole, unconquered. For them we point, we say, Ashe. For them, but go on yonder, and fight for their freedom. Forget the other rest of people, for hold together, unite to one another. For them this your day, we go and we say, Ashe. And for the children with a kind, how old are we? We want to know with her, and things like that. We go and we say, Ashe. Ashe. Good afternoon. How are the children to do? Well. Okay then, sound so. Glad to see everybody with day and things like that. I the Queen Quet, head from the body of the Gullah Geechee Nation. I'm native of Centennial Island, South Kakalaki, which is the epicenter of Gullah Geechee culture. So I'm so glad for day one more again with we Elder Jean and we representatives, Sister Glenda Simmons-Jenkins, Sister Kathy of the Gullah Geechee Cultural Community Trust, and I'm the founder of the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition, which is the oldest organization in world history with Gullah Geechee in the name. So I can't speak your language as well. Also, I know here in Florida, you might say, "Que pasa? ¿Cómo está?" Okay, so it is a wonderful day to have an opportunity to be back here in Florida, and in particular, back at this site. And so one of the things that we are blessed to do today is we are blessed with technology. I am a computer scientist and mathematician, as much as that shocks most people because they think I'm only a historian or only a cultural presenter. But I think with both sides of my brain, okay, and have used them, and I thank God for that. And so one of the things that we came up with is something called Gullah Geechee Create, coastal removal engaging artists through the environment. So today, we have the opportunity to marry, one might say, Gullah Geechee Create with Gullah Geechee CLAM. So tell them about CLAM.
CLAM is Cultural Legacy Advancing Marine. We left the S off science.
Yeah, you could say clams. Exactly.
Right.
We'll edit that. Nobody
Yes, right.
clams from now on. So yes, so now you see that we are taking the creative element further in marine science, and you all have the first opportunity because this is the day we're unveiling clams for the first time. And so it's a wonderful thing to be able to do this and to be able to inspire more people to really be an active part of the work that we have had going on protecting our environment. So this gives you sort of an overview, and I'm so glad that it's a Florida native from right there in Yulee and whatnot, Nassau County, yeah. All right, that actually created all this, and she's behind you. This is Simmons-Jenkins. She is our Create intern. Yeah, go on, clap. So as you see, Xavier is wearing our Create shirt today, and she put this together. So this will be scrolling by while you all have the opportunity to obtain lunch. But the reason we talk about coastal removal as part of this project is, as you can see in various slides that we're going to show you, where we started from removing just 12 bags from my native community at a historic site called Penn Center, which was the first trade, agricultural, and normal school to Freedmen, to moving to 20 bags, and look at from 7 volunteers to 30, right? And then we continued to do more work, and so then we ended up at 43 and 64 bags. Now this is not because the volunteers are increasing, that the bags are increasing. It just happened to be that these sites just were worse off than the original sites where we were. And so then we moved to 56 volunteers. You see they had less bags, and that's because we went back to a site that we had already begun earlier on. And so we continued to do this work. We even ended up on the Georgia coast doing some work, and that's going to come up, and you'll see here was our Florida work that we did. Some of y'all, I'm sure, are very familiar with the Remote River, and so this was a lot of fun to be at a different site for me and not have to be in South Carolina and do this work. And we did this along with someone who's going to present today, which is Captain Sam Baker, that many of y'all might be familiar with from Soul Martin Fishing, and he does the Captain Sam Slam. So Gullah Geechee Cultural Community Trust partnered with him, and we all came together and did work. So this gives you a collage to see the varied array of people that have been working, and the unfortunate varied array of the types of debris that we have found. Everything from lamps to bottles to other very strange objects like bones. Okay? Because when we started working with Georgia, we entitled that the creepy cleanup. Because every time we went to move something, we found bones there. What kind of bones, we don't know. We didn't get the DNA testing on it. We have no idea. And I think the creepiest thing was when we went to pull one thing and we found hair sticking out from a big mound, human hair sticking out from a big mound. So I was like, let's not continue to move anything over there, because that hair might go to some of the bones we found in the other spots. So as we've done this work, we started working more with the South Carolina Aquarium, and they have this litter journal, which anybody can enter data into to say what types of debris you collected. Do you see the massive amount? And our work has now shown up in the press. And in fact, this week I was in the New York Times, and we were talking about the ocean and how to protect our oceans. So we're going to talk more about that later on in the day as well. And so just in summary, you start to see how much of an impact has happened already just with us working with Gullah Geechee Create. And so it's wonderful to actually wade out, get in the fluff mud with CLAM, so that we can see how we can even expand this all the more, get more people engaged, get them to volunteer, get them to participate in a number of activities that the Gullah Geechee Cultural Community Trust is leading here, along with many of our ongoing partners of the Gullah Geechee Sustainability Think Tank, like BIMS, which is Black and Marine Science. They've done a number of these cleanups with us, and they started doing bio-blitzes as well. So that they would take water samples and samples from the sediment in the mud, and then test it to see how healthy it is for biodiversity. So they're doing actual DNA testing on those soil samples. And so, you see, they just love being in the mud anyway. I could just tell them, just come go with me in the mud, they'll just go. Whether they have to sample or not. But we've learned a lot of good things. We've seen, even from phytoplankton testing, how healthy the water is around St. Helena. But then we've seen some things in the sediment testing that shouldn't be there, like human DNA. And we see a little bit of too much of that. And we think it's from septic tanks. So now the wonderful thing is seeing how people are influenced around the world to think about marine debris and how to clean it up. And what you're going to do with us today is be a part of how we found a way to recycle it or upcycle it. To actually create art pieces, to actually be more creative about what we're doing when we find plastics that never biodegrade. When you find things like lamps and other things, what could you do with them? So we've had an array of people. It's been intergenerational. It's been a lot of fun. The elders here, when I came by to just talk to them about the environmental work that I was doing, and I said, well, we've done painting and art with the youth. Would you all? Yes! I was like, okay, I didn't even finish my question. And it was like, yeah, when you come in, I was like, okay, all right, yes, ma'am, I'll be back. You know, so we came back. And we had some wonderful times with them, and we'll be going back to some of the other senior centers also to do some additional artwork with them. And one of the pieces y'all will see on the tables are the Lily Cutters. And we're all going to learn how we recycle them and how we want some of the little children that's here today to help me paint some of them. All right? And so this is Quadre Stuckey. He's one of our native Gullah Geechee artists, in addition to Sister Simmons-Jenkins in the back. And they work with me at St. Helena Elementary School, which is my alma mater. It was St. Helena School, because we went elementary, junior high, high school when I went to school back in. And so, you know, it was wonderful to be back there in my alma mater and work with the youth. And we had a great time. You could see their creativity really ranged in the way that they decided to design their kutas. And we presented this with South Carolina Sea Grant. We presented it to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Fortunately, it still exists now. We're concerned about it in the future, though, because they were the ones that provided the funding to Sea Grant for us to do the work. This sister here, Dornisha, has taken all the prizes in the first set of our Gullah Geechee Create art competitions. She actually, that big box you see next to her is all plastic bottles that she recycled and made into a Gullah Geechee quilt and turned it into a quilt cube. Fabulous work. And then in Georgia, we also taught about the importance to not only our salt marsh, but our sweetgrass that many people know Gullah Geechees create baskets from. So we've been invited to many, 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 many conferences over the last 2 years. And we would have gone to more this year, but a number of those conferences now, their budgets are threatened. They're not sure if they're going to host them. A variety of things are happening that we pray will actually settle down, you know, because there's definitely troubling of the water right now in regard to funding. So these are just some of the partners we've been working with over the years that continue to sustain our Gullah Geechee Create work and Gullah Geechee See and Me, which is my overarching activity with the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition, wherein C stands for Saving Environmental Actions in the Marine Environment. So Gullah Geechee See and then the Me. And so it's all about centering Gullah Geechee culture as a component of nature-based solutions to a number of different things that we see have been impacting our coast in particular, but our global environment in general. And so it's been wonderful along this journey to meet up with folks like our presenter who is in-house with us today, Hunter, who also works with Captain Sam Baker. And so Captain Sam Baker is going to come to us via video today. And so we're going to talk to him, and he'll talk with us, and Hunter will be here during our lunch.
And I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and speak at this event. So I'm going to talk about protecting and enhancing our waterways with oysters. So just a little background. I think we all are pretty aware of oysters and why we love them, but just to kind of reiterate, you know, oysters are a huge fishery. They've been a big fishery for a long time. And so I know it's a part of our culture, and it's a big part of our economy still to this day. Oysters provide a lot of ecosystem services. Just the you know, when oysters are there, they do a lot there. They've been described as a keystone species because of the, you know, how crucial they are to the estuarine ecosystem. So with that, you know, they filter water. They're suspension feeders, so as they take in water, they're removing pollutants and chemicals and things like that, and reducing nutrients, helping cycle those nutrients from a lot of the runoff that we have with coastal development. And then they stabilize our shoreline, so through the formation of this three-dimensional reef, they can actually attenuate wave energy, and so they can help protect our salt marshes. And then they create habitat. So also with the formation of this three-dimensional reef, you have a lot of little spaces and stuff where a lot of small crustaceans and fish can use the reef, and then larger crustaceans and fish can, you know, use these reefs as feeding grounds. So these are a lot of species that we use for our fisheries or just recreational fishing. So they're really important. So to continue this work, we need to recycle our oyster shells. So that is kind of the foundation of Jack's Oyster Conservation, is to provide an ongoing oyster shell recycling program. We all know how important it is to recycle and maintain our resources, and as of now, Jacksonville is putting a lot of its oyster shells into landfills. I know up in South Carolina and Georgia, North Carolina, and a lot of big coastal cities have, you know, robust oyster shell recycling programs. Guana Research Reserve here has an oyster shell lot and program. I'm close with Jimmy, who runs that, but they don't have the means to be going to all these restaurants every week, every month, and will probably be more limited as things go on in this age of defunding. So we need to continue to recycle oyster shells and keep that, because that is the foundation of these restoration projects. We need that oyster shell, and it's a valuable resource that we are constantly using. Of course, teamwork makes the dream work. You know, none of these projects can happen if we don't come together with our partners and keep those partnerships tight and get things going. And that's one of the most exciting things about these projects to me, is getting to meet all these different people and different groups with different missions that we can all come together on and get projects going. So Captain Sam, I'm going to zoom him in so he can talk.
Hey!
Can you hear me?
Yes! We just said
awesome. So peace and blessings, everyone. I'm thankful to be here today to present. Hunter, thanks for sharing that awesome information and showing the type of work that we've done together, but the work that you do to share that knowledge. And I want to thank Queen Quet for giving me this opportunity too in the Gullah Geechee Nation. And one thing she wanted me to do, and Rep. Jenkins asked me to do, is to tell you a little bit more about myself, my organization, how we got to this point, right? And I know you have a small amount of time, and Queen always loved being on time. And if I slow, if I say anything I shouldn't say, I know Brother Kwame will take care of me when he's sitting there personally time. So I'm going to go ahead and go forward everything. So the question I have for everyone, but I want you to think about it, I don't want you to answer this question, is why do we do this? Why do we learn? And why do we share the knowledge we gain? You know, it's very simple, and I'm going to show you what that is. And I hope you can see this. I hope it's not fuzzy. Can you see it good?
We just hit.
Yep.
You have to flip.
Beautiful. Beautiful. It's because of them. It's because of that next generation, right? That's why we do it. See, the thing about it is, they're not being taught the old knowledge anymore. The traditions about farming, harvesting, fishing, gathering seafood, using a natural energy, and how nature can heal the mind and bring peace that money can't buy. Some do know this, but the percentage is very small. Because see, here's the thing, today they're battling a whole new world. It's called the metaverse. It's another dimension that we may not understand ourselves, but it's an online escape for them. It's a place where they can feel accepted or feel loved. But it also pulls them away from the real world, right? From nature, from family, as well as from community. And so, and you know, and where we come in today, that's where we come in. That knowledge that we hold, that they don't know that they need. The peace that you find in nature is one of those answers. And by being here today at this event, you're part of that solution. And you're the ones who are going to help change lives. You're the ones who are going to help them feel that love that they desperately seek on social media, right? And I thank you for that. And I thank you for taking the time out to be here today, because it's very important. So let's move on. So another thing I want to do is I want to thank Queen Quet for hosting this event, for bringing us together, right? To see the need, to share the vision of where we want our communities to be, and to plan how we can make this vision possible, right? So I started Soul Marching Fishing and Conservation Foundation out of simple love. Love of being outdoors, love of being in nature, of finding the peace there in nature as well. I never imagined that a love like that would, go into something that touches so many people, especially youth. I started off actually doing oyster shell bagging right here at GTM, where you're sitting right now. That picture that you see up there is from our GoPro video of when we were actually laying those oyster bags out. And Hunter, you'll know exactly the spot where that is, where those bags were laid. And like Hunter said, this was an old technique that was used, but we found out didn't work that well, because over time those bags dissolved. Some of that plastic, those microplastics, got in the water, and the oyster shells never actually collected on top of there to make that mound that you look for, those giant, what I call Jurassic Park mounds of oysters in that area. So is it still fish? Yeah, there's still fish around there, but it's not the ecosystem that we really wanted it to create, But even so, I love knowing that I could help create oysteries that bring new life, that replenish ecosystems and heal our environment. And that's what this event is all about today with Queen Quet is hosting, restoring and sustaining our communities, and create environments for future generations, right? And so, believe it or not, the whole organization was started off with a birthday fishing tournament. Just me, my friends, and a dream. And that dream turned to over 80 people that attended that event. And I told myself, I was like, man, if I can do that with just friends, imagine what I can do with others. Do for others. So I did. So for 3 years, I held a fishing tournament that the proceeds went to the Boy Scouts of America North Florida Council. We educated, we hosted the Big Sam Slam fishing tournament, and we donated all the proceeds back to the council. And then once again, I thought, if I can do this, imagine what I can do on a bigger scale. And that's what started Soul Marching Fishing and Conservation Foundation. That's how it was all born. So today, we do everything from host fishing clinics to do coastal cleanups to having hands-on education. We do research, and we do other things as well, as like you see beach cleanups. We're doing washback turtle surveys. And then one of my favorite things is work directly with youth and family. So here in Jacksonville, we partner with other nonprofits to mentor young men from middle school through high school. And what we seen was the mindset shifts, better decision making, and life-changing results. Well, why is that? It's because the organizations, we combine our resources and focus on the youth and not ourselves, right? That is how we secure the future, and that's how we attract them to be able to teach them these things that we know, so we can rest our heads knowing that everything's going to be okay, right? So right now, I'm currently talking to you from Central America. I'm currently doing fisheries research here. I'm studying fisheries, migrant fish that reach the United States, how local anglers fish and protect their catch, the laws and regulations that protect the resources. And I've noticed something very powerful while here. And I told Rep. Jenkins this when we were talking about this event that you're at right now. I've noticed that the tradition and the practices I've heard about from the Gullah Geechee community and back home where I'm from, I'm seeing those things alive here in Central America. And what are those things? What are those things? Here, family and community matter more than money. I'm going to say that again. Family and community matter more than money. Success isn't about becoming a millionaire. It's making sure everyone has enough, sharing resources and grow together. That's super powerful, and that's what we're missing today in the United States, and we need that back right now. You know, like 80 South yesterday, we needed that, right? So what I want to do is I want to thank Queen Quet, thank you Queen Quet, and the Gullah Geechee Nation, Rev Jenkins for supporting our project. I want to thank Mr. Christopher Smith for helping us secure permissions so that we can do the vlogs or even think about living shorelines in that Reebok Park and the Reebok River area. We also saw the cleanups that Queen Quet showed you that we did together too as well. I actually received a message from Brother Chris saying, Sam, hey, I got a message from one of my stewards that live around the park. He said they're starting to see things like otters come back. They're starting to see birds and nature's coming back to a park where there really wasn't anything there but trash and things in the water. The fisheries improved. So just like Queen Quet was showing you earlier, when you start taking things or removing things that's not supposed to be in nature, Mother Nature would take care of herself and revive things, right? She'll restore herself. And that's something that I want you to take out of this too as well. So I also want to thank Hunter for his experience in oyster reef restoration and his own nonprofit for working with us too as well. So the collaboration reminds us this: knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. I'm going to say it again. Knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. So I pray that you leave this event with the vision from the Most High, how you can take what you learned here today, bring it back to your community, and invest in the next generation. I thank you for your time, and I pray and I hope that you may be blessed, and may this event inspire you to act today. So I want to say thank you again for this opportunity, Queen Quet, and I'm going to turn it back over to you guys. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right.
And I love those flashback photos that you put up there with us, the numerous times that we've been out here putting this your water and things like that. So I'm supposed to fly to South America, but I'm afraid if I fly there, you'll fly here. So we'll need to coordinate these calendars, all right, and whatnot.
Yes,
and we meet on a boat in the middle of the waters. I know you'll pick me up from it.
I'll post y'all at any time.
I know you will. Yes, this is awesome. This is awesome. One more round of applause to Captain Sam.
Okay, I'm going to read it to you, Queen. Peace and blessings to everyone, and have a great event.
Peace and blessings. Yeah, we're already having a great event, especially with you here. So, yes, that was awesome. And so, as you can see, this is not the beginning of work, this is the continuation. And the reason we do what we're doing is to ensure that our culture will continue. Because Gullah Geechee culture is inextricably tied to the land and the waterways here. We have a proverb that says, the water to bring me, the water will take me back. And so now this water is taking people back to traditions that, as you heard Captain Sam say, what are traditions anyway? Things that people try to stop us from doing, like having access to the waterways where we always use them to feed our families. Now they're saying, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that because maybe we shouldn't have built all those buildings along there that block the access. Yeah. And that are now falling into the ocean or falling into the creeks and then polluting them because of all of the chemical things that we use to build these buildings. You see? So now people, many generations ago, within my lifetime, people would say that they be getting me to crack me teeth like this show. We were ignorant and backward. Now I do a lecture, and I've been doing this for more than 2 decades. That's called From Backward to Brilliance. Because the same Gullah Geechee people that people told us in school we were ignorant because we retained our cultural traditions and our language are the same people coming to me now hoping I would come and do this type of session with them. And I normally make good money if I do go. But I can choose who I share knowledge with. And I choose to always ensure that we share it with intergenerational groups along our coast that especially are people of African and indigenous descent, because as Captain Sam said, a lot of our technology is drawing the children away from the elders, where we used to always sit with the elders on the porch, in the creek, in the boat, to the dock, to the landing, or wherever. You didn't have a choice. See the little conversations y'all have with your kids. That wasn't happening before. Your mama or your daddy, a big daddy mama, you already know it. Okay, I see you to nod now. She said, yes ma'am, because she knew what's coming. When they said, come on, what was you doing? You were coming. You weren't asking them, well, where we going and why and when we getting back and, well, I want to be with my friends. You wasn't doing none of that because, see all the pretty smiles y'all got, you might not have some of those teeth left. You weren't doing any of that. Y'all know, right? So we started dialoguing with our children and then made them on the same level with us in some degree. And then they didn't realize then that we could teach them something. Because if they're on the same level with you, now that's a peer. You see, that's not the hierarchy the way it was designed originally, so the elders would be venerated or respected, and so that then the ones coming behind would realize their age alone says that they know something more than you do. Okay? If I lived one day longer than you, I know something from that day that you weren't here. Everything wasn't birthed into the world the day you came. And I know that, thank you, yes, I know you got churns. Yeah, so I'm saying this is a critical thing. So when we talk about doing this work, we love working with the youth and for the youth, but we do it in an intergenerational way. And it has been such a blessing to have, my mother's 93. So she worked in these creeks and stuff. So I tease her all the time and say, all right, come on, let's go. Come on, we're going to go get some crabs. She just started laughing. She said, been there, done that. Y'all going. I'll tell y'all what to do, but y'all going, or whatever. She'll just laugh, but she know I'm just messing with her. But if we bring it back, oh, she'll sit there and she'll go on and pick them, and she'll go and put them patties together, or she'll go and make them devil crabs and cook them, and everybody gonna eat. So part of our culture is always, how do we all eat? You see? And who brings what skill set to that? We don't want you in the kitchen if you burn water. You need to stay far from the kitchen if you burn water. So we got something else for you to do. Maybe you need to chop wood so that we can ball the crab. You know, something like that. You watch the children. You know, just don't feed them. We'll feed them. You know, that kind of thing. But everybody plays their part. So again, that's that cultural ecosystem. What did each one of us bring? So when the elders might not be up on technology, the youth might be able to show the elders, well, while we down there getting the crab, we can videotape it and we could actually make a 3D version of this whole nursery for the crab, and I can bring that back to school. But they can put the voice over what the elders are teaching on that technology. And then the elders don't mind when you bring your cell phone over and say, look what I did with this grandma. Yell at me! Stop the noise! Well, what I yell at me, but I ain't see me. Why you look like that crab that's talking out of my voice? You know? But now you get that intergenerational sharing, that intergenerational learning, and that makes it exciting because now the young people can find out from the elders, how is this place different now than when you were my age growing up? And trust me, the majority of them will tell you this coast looks nothing whatsoever like it did when I was growing up. And they can tell you what they were able to do that now you wouldn't do because of pollutants or the lack of access or the combination of both. So all of this work is so critical throughout the Gullah Geechee Nation. Y'all notice, and one of the slides that Captain Sam had up there, I promised the ladies I would show them later. Do my banner black, I call it. That you notice in the background that this book was sitting next to me in one of his slides. This is called The Sandman's Daughter. This is one of the collaborative books that I did with someone named Robin Carter. She lived on our coast in South Carolina for a while until she was like the destruction rate was too much and she decided to move elsewhere away from the coast. But she always loved the loggerhead turtle walks. So she wanted to do a story, but she realized that her culture was not Gullah Geechee culture, but the Gullah Geechees had so much knowledge. So she wanted to make sure there was a Gullah Geechee character that was central in the story. But she said, I don't think I'll do it justice unless you would work with me on it. So we also got Al Hawkins, who's an outstanding artist, who did the illustrations for this book. And it really focuses on the loggerhead turtles and the community around protecting that aspect of the coast. And so here it is in one of our many creatures that we love. And this book I did myself. As a computer scientist, I decided I'm going to go ahead and teach myself how to do these AI illustrations. And I just decided that's all I was going to do. I just was going to hang out that day and geek out. And then all of a sudden, as I continued going down this digital rabbit hole, I was like, hey, wait a minute. Well, I like this. Let's do this now. Create this now. Let's create that. Let's create that. But I'm a writer. So the more images came out that I liked, the story started coming through my mind about all the work that we do to protect this ecosystem here and the ocean. One of the things that we're working on is the Blake Plateau. The Blake Plateau is the largest deep sea coral reef ever discovered in the world. And it sits off our coast. So immediately when I heard about it, I said, how I don't know about it? It was that close to us when they showed me a map. And they said, because it's so far down. And I said, oh, so this is one of those, 30,000 leagues under the sea type of deal. I said, so in other words, I have to go with SpongeBob and them down there? They said, yes, ma'am. I said, so can we arrange this? Can I get a submarine ride? They said, Queen, we can't promise you that, but we got a video when they went down there. But it was so intriguing, we started working on that right around the time I was working on this. So in this, I talk about salt marshes, I talk about Blake Plateau, I talk about Gullah Geechee culture and the spiritual practices related to some of these creatures, including the loggerhead turtle, and our connections of just meditating at these bodies of water, and how significant this all is to our culture. So this is called Gullah Geechee Blessing upon the Sea. And so these books, this one is entirely in Gullah, because that's how the story came to me. This one is in English, and you have some Gullah here and there in it, because Robin Carter is an Anglo woman, she's not Gullah, so she could write story in Gullah. But these two books, a lot of students have these books now, because whenever we go in and do a Gullah Geechee Create event, I try to make sure to donate them to their libraries. But many of the teachers and parents have come up to me to buy these books. And so that was definitely a good day, all right? And this is a good day to have all of you here to experience this. So now, Sister Glenda, they have someone that's going to lead us out?
I stepped out to tell them that we wanted to bring you to come.
Okay.
Because there's a salt marsh down there that we can actually, they call it education marsh.
Okay.
So if you wanted to walk down into that,
We can walk into it. So on that note, I'm going to change out of these into my boots. So I'm going to have those on, if anybody else has those boots that y'all wear in the marsh or in the creek, and then your car, you might want to change into them if you want to walk in there and not get your other cute, pretty shoes muddy or anything like that. But we are going to do an excursion. So
this is hilarious to me, yeah. Look at this shit. Him probably to tell we said a story about him and his family. Look where to sit at. To sit on these thing with these other people that crack it to tell us who they are. The bird probably just like we Gullah Geechee and say that a story there. Okay then. They ain't ask you nothing, any. They ain't know who you are. I know. And it is. For true. Okay. Right, they in the bud so they could tell your story. I know. I know how hungry you are. The truth. And it. Peace and blessings. I got it. I'm camera shy. Oh yeah? The pink one, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, we were trying to figure out what they were. because they've started migrating to where we are,
Oh, yeah.
and we were like, why are the cranes turning pink?
Oh, yeah, so
But
it's
they're
Rosette,
spoonbills.
right?
yeah, they're spoonbills. So it's a type of bird. Essentially, it's just like
A crane?
yeah,
An egret?
yeah. So
Yeah.
they turn pink based off of
The
essentially
food.
what they eat.
Uh-huh.
It's very important for the ecosystem. You can
Yeah.
essentially tell how well the ecosystem's doing
Based
off
on
of
them. Their
yeah,
colors.
their plumage.
So now what are they primarily eating here in Florida? Is it shrimp? What is turning them pink?
Shrimp, Creole type of small
So-
organism, essentially.
I
It's a
see.
very small shrimp. Like
Yes.
almost.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've started migrating. We weren't used to seeing them.
So that's a big problem we're having now in Florida. Which
Yeah.
Why what we were talking about today. So oyster studies, a lot of the things that most of our birds would eat,
Would feed on.
yeah, they're having to go migrate further
North, I see, to obtain their diet.
Right.
I get it.
So many of the ecosystems are being
Being
destroyed
damaged
here.
with all this building.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. That makes sense now. Say again, Hunter, who was the owner of this originally?
The peninsula was owned by Herb Payton, and then in 1984 he sold it to the state.
And Herb Payton is the guy that owned the Gate gas stations?
He is.
Really?
Yeah.
And so you said in an alternative universe, what was the plan?
Well, you know,
They were going to build stuff.
oh yeah, there's an idea. You know, he owned the land, so if he hadn't sold it to the state, then
It'd probably be houses or who knows what here, a resort.
yep.
Like half of the rest of Florida. Hi.
How's it going?
Good. So that's where the marsh was that y'all went into?
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome to take a turn to the left.
To the
and
left?
walk all the way.
Okay, around through there. Hi, y'all look familiar. Hey. I see. Ah, okay. Oh, I'm glad I put the boots on now. Ooh, sticky. Stabbing me, sweetgrass. Don't make me pull you and turn you into a basket. Oh, how interesting. Okay, so they put this here to corral people in. So
And welcome to Education Mall.
what's going on? I filming you and you to film me in it. Okay. And look at the grass stabbed me the snow. I said, don't act up, sweet grass. I'll pull you and make you into a basket. Okay.
We've been looking for it.
Annie, this is interesting. Oh, look at all the fiddlers running. They trying to get out the way. They like, move, get out the way. Get out the way. We see you. This is interesting.
Grandmother that was walking with us, she was asking, where is she?
Oh Lord. she afraid that we done lost her grandchild in this.
Yeah.
Yes. If my mother know we out here pluffing around in the mud, she'd be like, you can't be going down there with Glenda no more. I thought y'all go to the church. I see you, Sister Glenda. So what's going on? This Glenda
So
Simmons-Jenkins.
happy to be out in the marsh.
I know that's right.
Although I'm sweating bullets, it's okay. We're having a lovely day.
I know that's right.
Create clams has
Yeah.
been a huge success in my eyes.
Yeah.
Captain Sam gave us a sermon. He preached.
And amen.
He brought it from
Yes,
the
he did.
leaves.
For sure.
And we done had a good old time.
Annie though. But
Now
let
I'm
me
waiting
tell-
for the second half. to
Annie
create.
though. I know that's right. But let me ask you a question. Oh, there goes Xavier. There goes a miniature Simmons. Spotted in the natural environment, the natural habitat.
Spotted a wild Xavier.
Yes, spotted wild Xavier. Yes. So now let me ask you this question, Rep. So a lot of people like to use this word resilience now. Oh, see, I said, Why did you react with already as a Gullah Geechee? What does this word really mean, if anything, to you?
I
Resilience.
reacted because these buzzwords that people come up with, they come up with their own definitions. We've always been resilient because that's how God made us to be. But when people interfere in our lives, that's what interferes with the resilience. We know what to do just like Mother Nature knows what to do. But people have their own ideas that are often driven by money. And that's what interferes with resilience.
I hear that.
So money is sometimes, buzzwords are often tied to money and funding. but people come up with these words for things that indigenous cultures have always been doing because they know that they can promote something in a way that will generate funds and so on and so forth. But climate and resilience that's the essence of who we have been all this time. So that's what I think about the word.
Awesome.
It's one thing for a word to define you or for you to define the word.
Amen to that.
We define the word.
Ashe. So let me ask you that. It's been 25 years since the Gullah Geechee Nation been in existence. So this being the 25th anniversary and this being one of the events during the 25th anniversary, what do you think of when you think back over these years? I know you wasn't there during my installment,
Right.
but you was there not long after, and you've been with me ever since out here. And even when they ain't feel like we ain't been in the pluff mud, sometimes it feel like we've been in some pluff mud, trying to get people to understand who we be as Gullah Geechee anointed people. But think back. What do you reflect on and think about when you think about 25 years of the Gullah Geechee Nation?
It's so funny you're asking me this as we're standing in the march. What do I think about 25 years? What I think on is what the path has been to getting people in Florida to embrace the culture. And I start with myself because I was the first to say, how do you know that? The Queen has told me that I was Gullah Geechee. And so that question has led to the answer, which is I am. And for everybody else who kind of has gradually embraced it, I just think about that journey and the path that it has been to get to this point, to where we are seeing people return to the culture that never left them. And we left the culture. But that's what I think about. And it's gratifying for 25 years journey, although I started a little short of that. But to say we did what we had to do, you know, and what we could not do it because we were compelled to do it. And it's just been a blessing. It's been a blessing to watch people fulfill their journey, you know, their destiny, of culture and identity.
Awesome. And it's so appropriate that you say coming on this path, because we still got to get through this path to get back up the road. So thank you for this show. What a blessing. Now I know all y'all Sweetwater basket people leave me alone. No, I ain't gonna tell you where we did. I ain't gonna tell you because I know y'all gonna come here and all this grass here be gone. No, y'all will say, ain't gonna be gone, Queen. It could be a basket, an earring, and all kind of things. I know. It's a blessing. Truly a blessing to be down here in this here part of Florida and thing like that. With the Gullah Geechee Gullah Geechee CLAM Day. Right out here, truly as part of the environment. It truly bless up and thing like that. And see, I love this here tree. Almost go with me here. You see? Yes, this shit the Queen quit. Head upon the body of the Gullah Geechee Nation. And if Hunter chillin' there with me, Hunter going know this year the what going on. Come on, this Gullah Geechee CLAM journey.
I'm gonna give my home. So everyone, we have Sister Vanessa, who like me, she's a poet, she's a writer. And so she's, I believe, the only person who wrote a poem. We had three of my artists leave already. We had two that actually did coloring, and we had one that colored the coulda, and now we have some poetry. So if y'all all turn your attention to Sister Vanessa. Go ahead.
It's only 6 lines, y'all. Gullah Geechee create, with the coast we can't wait. Spirit guide our actions well, learn and teach, activate a spell. Live here, love here, treat it as such, show love for the land and generations very much.
Well, this is wonderful. I always enjoy looking and seeing what has been created. I see a lot of relationships are being created. I see that Reverend CJ is getting somebody else. They're going to obviously be meeting him at the library because all they over here doing is a theological discussion. I don't know if he ever got to paint his piece yet. But we're getting ready to wrap up and close out. So what we usually do is with everybody that's finished their pieces, we usually all get together and take a big group shot. so that we can have that. That's how y'all saw all those pictures that I showed y'all earlier. We have one big file of all the things, and all the things that you painted, it's up to you. You can take it home, it's yours. If you want to donate it back, you can, but most people take it back and we take the picture. So we always get to have this for history's sake to show who all of our participants were. And we have a variety of different partners, our Climate Heritage Network, the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition, Gullah Geechee Legacy, Gullah Geechee Cultural Community Trust, that all came together to be able to fund today and to have fun today. So we really, really appreciate all of you, as we say in the church, thinking it's not robbery, but join you, okay? And so we appreciate you all being here. So thank you on behalf of the Gullah Geechee Nation for supporting this event, and thank you to all the GTM-NEER staff for hosting us and inviting us back already. Thank you.